doesn't enjoy the beach? I always thought early morning was the best time to go. Then you can be alone with the sun and the wind and the water. In many ways, a visit to the beach is like getting into a baseball stadium before the game. Everything is there. The pristine infield, combed and polished. The absurdly green grass of the outfield. Rows and rows of seats waiting to be filled. The huge scoreboard, now blank. The drone of traffic outside, hardly noticed in the peace of the untouched field. The early morning beach evokes the same feelings. As the sun rises and the clouds lose their color, there's a quiet, bounded by the waves lapping at the edges. Before you is the endless sea. The sand is unblemished. But as a ball field is incomplete without ball players, a beach is incomplete without its players. They arrive with the dawn. A laughing gull finishes its nighttime scavenging. Then, out over the sea, appears a flock of birds. They land, hopefully nearby. We could look at them as just some birds on the beach, or look a little closer and realize they're skilled technicians. Like baseball players, each has refined its abilities, not hitting or throwing the ball, but finding food. The more you know about baseball, the more fun to watch it. The more you know about how these birds live and what they can do, the more fun to watch them. Video can get us closer than binoculars, so let's check these birds out. The ones that just landed are sanderlings. Identify sanderlings as the plain gray and white ones that run in and out with the surf. If you can catch one in flight, the bright white wing stripe, bolder than most any other shorebird, will clinch the ID for you. During migration, they prefer water big enough to make some waves, the ocean, Great Lakes, or here at the Great Salt Lake, where they hang around with the black-bellied plovers. If some of the sanderlings you see in these shots look a bit more colorful than I have implied, you can date the video to May. Only then do they don their breeding colors. This change of dress is intended for the far north and gets even redder as June approaches. We are fortunate to be able to see them like this for a couple of weeks, and then they're gone, bound for the high Arctic. During these weeks, some birds jealously defend a patch of beach as their own. But for the most part, the sociable sanderlings just run ahead of the incoming surf, then turn and follow it back out. Each wave brings in food. Little creatures like this centimeter-long isopod, or sand crabs about the same size, are constantly being washed up on the shore. Finding themselves high and dry, they quickly burrow into the loose sand or scuttle back out to sea. That's why the sanderlings stay so close to the in-and-out water. The food isn't exposed very long. But sanderlings aren't restricted to what they can see and snatch. Their bills are short, but the critters aren't very deep. They can probe into the sand, then open the tips of their bills and pull out, hoping to flush some food. Don't believe that a bird can just open the tip of its bill? Look. And you thought the beach was just a lot of wet sand. There's plenty of bird food just below your feet. After filling up on crustaceans and worms, sanderlings, like all shorebirds, retired to drier areas to rest. Here they encounter a second group of short-billed beach predators, the plovers. One in particular can be recognized by its heavy bill. It's Wilson's plover, and what it eats requires this substantial hardware. It wears the common plover uniform, brown and white, with a breastband. For a bird like this one, living completely in the open, its plumage helps it hide. The band and head stripes break up its outline in a simple pattern of dark and light. Just another pile of sand in the sunshine, if you don't move. Plovers hunt by sight. They have big eyes, and Wilson's are among the largest. He can see food from a distance, and here is what he's looking for: fiddler crabs. Male fiddler crabs sit by their holes, waving one arm to attract females. They can pop into their burrows in an instant, but plovers are fast. The crabs have a good defense. Sometimes it works. But this one isn't so lucky. The bird approaches rapidly in a crouch and shakes the crab to pieces. Its bill is like a clamp and a jackhammer all in one. Unlike people, plovers are not great fans of crab claws. The real prize is the body. Wilson's plover breeds along the coast and is not common anywhere. Unfortunately, its preferred habitat is also a favorite of beachgoers, their dogs, and their ATVs. Many plover nests and babies are run over or otherwise destroyed every year. The commonest plover on the beach during migration is the semi-palmated plover. It's smaller than Wilson's, and you'll know it from the chest band, pinkish legs, and a bit of orange at the base of the bill. They're named for something hardly anyone ever sees. A duck has a completely webbed foot. It's called palmate. This plover has only a little webbing, thus semi-palmate. For some reason, Audubon, the bird artist, was impressed by this and painted the bird practically falling off a rock to show the feet. These birds run all over the wetter, muddier parts of the beach looking for worms, and their big eyes find plenty. Semi-palmateds go way north to breed like a proper shorebird, and so it's not threatened like Wilson's is. This one was filmed in Homer, Alaska, on a thin peninsula that sticks out into Kachemak Bay. Here, they'll show you what's called the broken wing act. If anything dangerous gets too close to a nest or a hidden baby, the adult makes a huge fuss and flops around on the ground, acting like she can't fly. You're supposed to follow this stricken bird, and when it thinks you're far enough away from the chicks, it miraculously recovers and flies away. When you can get close, a semi-palmated plover is a strikingly pretty creature. Plovers are camouflage artists when it comes to the colors of their backs. The brown of the semi-palmated plover matches the mud of the part of the beach it prefers to be in. Two other plovers, both rare, perfectly match the ground in their preferred habitats. The snowy plover's colors fit well with a mix of light mud and water. And this is a piping plover, as hard to see on light sand as a ghost. "200 years ago, a walk along the beach in migration would have revealed golden plovers. A back flecked with gold and a front of raven black are separated by a graceful S-curve of white, one of the most elegant birds on the planet. After a century of hunting, they are now uncommon. We are fortunate to still have a related bird, easy to find. It's the black-bellied plover. In fall and winter, a simple gray bird. They're called gray plovers in Europe, but they molt into striking black and white on their way north in spring. The aristocrats of the beach. They stand alone, not letting you get close. Black-bellies are fast, strong flyers, and in mixed species flocks often take the lead, a position once assumed by their golden cousins. They hold their black and white livery well into summer on the way back south. By then, noontime beaches are hot, and they save their feet by balancing on one leg at a time. To the sight of our eyes and the touch of our feet, the beach is just a place where the relentless sea has pounded rocks into infinite tiny grains that it washes clean day after day after day. But the birds, with their special senses, can find food here, enough to fuel their global travels. Our black-bellied plovers specialize in big worms. But the worms they want have minds of their own and bristles along their bodies to hold them tight in their watery burrows. There is often a leg-stretching, worm-stretching battle. If you follow a black-belly around for a while, you will very likely see a fight, as I recorded here with a truly ancient camera in 1987. In the United States, shorebirds like plovers and sandpipers bring the mystery of faraway places to anyone who goes to look for them. You know they're coming from, or are on the way to, some place you may never see. That's a part of their magic. But they aren't the whole show at the beach. Birds that make their living from the sea itself are louder, bigger, and grab your attention. In the next installment, we will see some of these.